Hi everybody, I'm Bruce Hatnip. I'm here at the Warren County Heritage Center and Museum in what we call the entertainment room. This is one of the neat places around McMinnville. I'm sad that I can't be with you in person today for this video, but someone asked me if I would be part of Music Week, and I said sure. But to me, every week's Music Week. I have to have music to help me keep going every day. Makes me happy. Keeps me going. Sometimes it makes me sad. It makes me think of people that are no longer with us or things that happened that maybe weren't good, but many times it helps me be happy, keeps me active, and gives me a reason to keep pushing every day. Especially during times like this when we can't always get to be with the people we'd like to be with. When you think about me as a person, I play some music every now and again, different types of instruments and whatnot. And if you look at my family's history and what my family did, both my grandfathers played music. My dad's dad, my grandfather, played music with Uncle Dave Macon, which is the guy that's in the display behind where I'm sitting here. And my aunt and uncle, which I have a picture here if you can see that, are the second generation of musicians in my family that I know about. They played music. My mother's dad played a banjo, and so my aunt, which is my mother's sister, is holding the banjo, and my dad's brother is playing the guitar in that picture. And so I'm the third generation down the line of people in my family that have played music throughout the years. And it's been a lot of fun to entertain people on stage or just play music when there's nobody else around, just entertain and do things yourself. And I play different types of instruments. Some of the things I like to play are drums. I don't know how many of you play drums. Sometimes you tap pencils on a table or snap your fingers or do things, and that's called percussion, making that type of sound. And what I have here is what's called a hand drum, or sometimes I call it an Irish drum, because these types of drums are often used to play this type of music you would hear in Ireland and in places like this. I'm going to lay my other stick right there just a minute. There's different types of sticks. Saw the bigger one. We have one here, some call a tipper. Some just call it a stick because that's really what it is. And to play this, you take the stick and tap it on the drum while holding your hand at the back. And the way that you move your hand around changes the sound of that drum. And a lot of the Irish music that you listen to, especially the older music, sometimes you hear the word Celtic music used to refer to the music listened to in Ireland, Scotland, Wales, and all of the United Kingdom from back a long time ago. This drum fits in perfectly with that, and that's the type of music they use. And often the stick is done in this fashion. Ways you can play that drum also by taking different types of sticks, such as one that's used with a regular drum set that we see in music bands and so forth, that can be used to make sounds also. If I turn the stick the other way and just push my thumb against this so I'm not really holding it to keep the sound quieter, I can get a really loud sound out of this. Similar to the way that some of the Native American or Indian tribes would play their drums. They used hand drums similar to this also. And in doing so, they would often make sounds of war so that the enemy knew the next day they were coming. And you can get a really loud all kinds of different sounds, even by. And so there's lots of different ways we can play that type of drum. Another type of drum that you'll sometimes find me playing are ones like these. I'm going to scoot my stool back so I can sit this a little closer. And these are called bongos. And oftentimes they'll turn this way. You can't really see the drum head, but just like the other one, you bop it to get the sound that you want. One's a little bigger, one's a little smaller, and that makes different sounds. So you can get some different types of sounds with that. And you can even, for the person that likes to, use the sticks with these. But most often you always see people just with their hands. And I'll show you one more instrument today that I like to play music with. I also play, in addition to what I brought with me today, a thing called an omnichord, which is like an electronic auto harp or a little miniature sized keyboard that makes electronic sounds similar to organs and harps and pipes and things of that nature. And it's a really neat instrument. I sometimes play a harmonica. Trying to learn some other instruments too. I have played the keyboard some and make music. But my favorite is this one, the mountain dulcimer. It's an instrument that was actually invented in the Americas, which is unique here. It's a part of the Appalachian mountain instruments that people play. It was developed in the Appalachians. McMinnville, Tennessee is in the lower part of the Appalachian Mountains, and we don't always think of ourselves as being in the Appalachian Mountains, but we really are. We're at the foothills, the beginning point where those mountains start riding up and taking us to a higher and higher elevation as we go on through those mountains and on up toward the northern states. And so the dulcimer, the mountain dulcimer, the lap dulcimer, it's sometimes called, or the harp dulcimer, because of it sounding somewhat like a harp, is an instrument developed there. And so it has a unique sound. It only has 4 strings, where a guitar oftentimes has 6. Some guitars have 12. Banjos have 5. This one has 4. Some of them only have 3. But the extra string, which makes this one have 4, makes it just a little bit louder, so we can get a little bit more volume to the sound. And so I'm going to play you a little tune and hopefully get through this without messing up. And we'll see if it's a tune that you recognize. Anyone have a guess what that song was? It's a song called This Old Man. Back some years ago, there was a TV show that came on about a purple dinosaur by the name of Barney. It's also the music that goes to his theme song as well. So it's a really neat song. The music's been around for almost 200 years, or a little more. So it's a really old song, but a really neat song still. There's different ways you can play the dulcimer. As you were looking, I had a stick, which is called a noter stick, that's used to lay across the strings to do what it does. And sometimes I use a thumb pick. And sometimes I use a thing that looks kind of like a pizza slice. And this type pick is to allow you to go back and forth across the strings to get a sound that sounds like the Scottish and Irish bagpipes. And it changes how the song sounds. And that's another way. Another way you can play this and get fun with it, or have fun with it, is to take your favorite pick and to chord like in a similar way that a person would do a banjo, a guitar, mandolin, or other instrument of that type. And I do mine just a little differently. And this is actually a song that I put together that is called The First Rain of an Irish Spring. And that's the Mountain Dulcimer and a song called First Rain of an Irish Spring. I really, really hope that all of you have enjoyed our visit today. And hopefully we can do this again sometime, and maybe in person. Sometimes you'll come to our History Museum, which is at 113 East Main Street in McMinnville. And if you see me in there, ask me if I've got my dulcimer hidden somewhere in the room. I'd be glad to get it out and play it. Or one of my drums. Sometimes I keep them up here and make music while we're here in the museum or out on the street so we can share that with other people. Music is fun. And thank all of you for having me be part of your music week. And we'll talk to you soon, hopefully. Take care.